So I stumbled across this video where Sam Altman essentially is referring to startups that are building on top of AI models, specifically ChatGPT 4, or even if you're building on Anthropic's models, Gemini models. And his sentiment is that if you're building on top of these models with the assumption that ChatGPT won't improve the models to include the kind of functionality that you're building on top of the model layer, then you're making the wrong assumption and you'll end up in the bunch of ChatGPT just killed my startup. And I think this is something important to watch for because I do think that there is some validity to this. And we're already seeing it where, as ChatGPT 5 comes along and even ChatGPT 4.5 comes, we're seeing them introduce things like operator, tasks, the ability for the context window to stay larger so that it can execute more tasks and for a longer span of time. We're starting to see agent activity within the model itself. Things like image generation, scouring the net, doing web searches, and then completing tasks and also communicating with other third-party tools. So that is something to bear in mind when you are building on top of these large language models, that whatever it is that you're building has to be distinct and unique and separate itself from what ChatGPT might be able to offer. And I think that the only way that you do that is that you have an application that's built on top of very specific kind of data and very even walled off data and very unique data sets. And then it also must also incorporate very unique tasks that agents can't have the ability to replicate from a ChatGPT's point of view. And that's how you safeguard yourself from, having your startup be killed by the next GPT-4 or GPT-5 update. I'm curious to hear what you guys' thoughts on that, and how you're building to sort of safeguard against ultimately ChatGPT, OpenAI, or any of the other big models from essentially being able to replicate what it is that you do. I do believe that the application layer is where you're going to separate yourself from the rest of the pack, but it has to be very unique and very niche. It has to be in a kind of data set that can't be easily replicated and actions that can't be easily replicated. So let me know in the comments what you guys think.